are back with Meet Me in the Middle, and we have our special guest, Therisa Means, and co-host Joy Martin. Hello.
Hello.
We covered a really heavy topic in the first episode, so make sure that you go back and watch it. But one thing that we wanted to just recap on with Therisa talking and telling her story is that there's no judgment here, and there's a whole lot of salvation and grace. And so for those of you that might be in the same situation or have been in that same situation, there's so many aspects to it that, we didn't go into the nitty gritty of it, but there's so many aspects of it. But we just want you to know that God is able to work through every situation, every single situation. And so, Therisa, thank you again for sharing what you did share, because that just really opened up a whole lot, and we appreciate your transparency.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this next point for this episode, we wanted to talk about some of the things that Therisa is doing with her business. She is a business advisor, and I had gone to your website when Joy was telling me to stalk you a little bit. And but your website is amazing. It was very like cool and calm, and I love the colors that you use. Your pictures were great. I like the font. I mean, just everything just flowed together. And so that was like the first thing that I saw, but I really didn't read as much as I should have. So tell me and tell us that are watching, you're a business advisor. What does that look like?
So what I do is I help small business owners, for the most part, to balance their business. And when I say balance their business, I mean their total life. I focus on mindset management. So I help them to get their minds right, because we know if our mind isn't in it, anything else that comes out of it is going to fail. So I help them to get their mind right. And because I am Christian, they're going to get Jesus in it somehow or another, and I give them principles and skills that to get their mind focused so that they can be a better business owner and a better entrepreneur. And then we take that and then dive into how to upgrade their business to be profitable, and then what that looks like with balancing their business life, their relationships, and some other people who may be parallel-preneurs, or they have a job and they also have a business, which like I'm the same way. I call my job my angel investor. Okay. So how to do that correctly?
Okay, back up a minute. That's what angel investor is. Okay, back up. Why do you call your? Okay, explain that.
So I call my job an angel investor because they are investing in my entrepreneurial business. Okay. I don't want to call it necessarily my career, because my career is with my business. My business is where I'm leaving legacy and I'm leaving something that's generational. My career, I can't leave but so much from that, but my business that I'm building is the legacy. So that's what I focus on. I believe your words mean everything, so I don't want to put that on that. My angel investors are the ones that are graciously investing into my my lifestyle.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
And I like the word she used, parallel-preneur.
Yeah. I never heard that before either. Talk about that.
So there's so many words for that. I got that from a lady named Carolyn Fraser, and I absolutely loved it. I was like, girl, I'm using it. And I think she may have even got that from somebody else, but there's so many words for it. I don't like people to try to discount it. Like, I don't call my business a side hustle. I know some people do, but I don't, because it's not a side hustle. This is my business. Right. My job, if I'm going to call something a side hustle, is my job. Right. Because that's the temporary. Mm-hmm. This is the legacy. So I got that word from her, and I was like, Carolyn, I'm going to use it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I've never heard it, and I love it. Thank you, whoever started that, wherever that began.
Yes. So, right. So when you're talking about having a focus on a mindset management.
Yeah.
How do you help people balance work, home, relationship with your skill set?
Well, because I'm so transparent, I share my experiences and the lessons that I've learned so that they don't have to wait years and years to learn them. But I have some type of way, the Lord has given me an ability to dive deep into their mindset, and not just their mindset, but even how they've gotten to the mindset, like what things in their life has caused them to feel this way or think this way, or, who told them certain things, or, where did the mind or the thinking, the thought process come from? So I have a way of just asking questions to dive deep into where there could be situations that have been holding them back from being their best self. For example, I talk about firing fear. I even have a master course on it. How to actually fire fear, because a lot of times we employ fear as if it's a CEO of our company, but we're supposed to be the head of our company, not allowing fear to take over. So I talked to him about that, and a lot of people like to say, oh, fear is not a real thing. It's real, because when you're feeling it, it's real. So I talked to them about that, and I teach them how to handle the fear and how to fire the fear finally.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk after this because I'm gonna hire you. Yeah.
You're kind of like a life coach for people who want to start their own business. Is that right? Is that kind of?
Yes, because I feel like if you as yourself, as a good person, are not together, then when you start a business, you may succeed a little bit, but you won't be as great as you can be until you get yourself together.
Well, all those years of you being a little independent, little something, when you were in high school and you were just yourself all set up for college, I mean, God was preparing you for it, even though you said you had to backpedal just a little bit and everything, in a little bit different order. But still, I see where God was like preparing you to be that like go get them kind of girl, that's just awesome. I love that. And just so you all know, her website is therisamins.com. Wait a minute, I had it right here. Is that right? Yes.
Yeah, therisamins.com, like my name.
And I'll put it in the in the description in the comments here so you guys know, but definitely go there. It's a great looking website and great hair. We already talked about I'm looking at the pictures. Beautiful. But yeah, one thing too that you talked about is you help people know how to start over, because some people like started, had great ideas, brilliant ideas, even lots of motivation, but then fell flat on their face somehow or whatever, something didn't go right or what, I don't know, whatever happened. What do you tell people about starting over and all that stuff?
Well, because I had to start over, I did my business for 10 years and stopped and had to start over because I realized my business was nowhere what it was supposed to. I literally looked at it and it was unrecognizable. I was doing what everybody else was saying was good for me to do, but not what I was purposed to do. And so I teach people how to do that, because a lot of times we either are scared to start over when we quit because we don't want somebody to say something, or we don't want it to be like, here she go doing something again. Mind your business, because I'm actually doing something and not just sitting here. So teaching people how to start over, what that looks like, and even how to prepare your mind for that, because it's more a mental battle than it is like the physical battle. Yes. You can go out here and do that. That's the easy part, but mentally preparing yourself to even handle if somebody does say, well, I thought you was doing this last week. Yeah. Okay. Mind your business again. and figuring out how to handle that. Yeah. So I literally help people back to mindset management. I help them get prepared to start over, and actually to start over doing something they're supposed to be doing, and not just starting over to be busy, but actually productively doing something.
So you work full-time job, but then you also have your business. So your full-time job, that's your angel investor. That pay, but then you're also starting your business, and that's who you're really. I mean, that's where you're doing what you're really made to do. Yes, am I right?
That's my ministry.
Yeah. Okay. So
so is your ministry going to be able to, this business, is it going to be affordable to people that really need it and that can use it?
Yes. So the way that God has allowed me to actually meet with people and dive into different segments of it has allowed me to maintain affordable prices, but I also have the ability to teach in segments for people that may not can afford the one-on-ones, but they can afford the group sessions, and they can still get something from the group sessions. Everything that I do, I try to make it personable. I've been in rooms where, the speaker is so far away and you hear certain things, but you don't get to ask questions, or it's like 5,000 people in there. So what's the chances of my question being asked? I try to make my group sessions small and intimate so that you do have the ability to ask those questions. And even in the bigger ones, I still try to give enough information to where you're at least going to have a start in the steps so that you can start something and get to a place where even if you may not be able to afford me now, if you follow the steps, you can afford me at the time where it's supposed to be.
Okay.
So do you help people with a business plan and all that, just the nuts and bolts of that kind of stuff, or more the overall vision and stepping out? What would you say?
So I do not write the business plan. I used to do that. The Lord has delivered me from that. But I do, I can refer you to someone, but I do help you to narrow down. So I help you to narrow down the parts of your business plan so that you can write it. I'm not going to write it. You're going to write it.
That's what I love that you say the Lord has delivered you from that now, because you know what? That's a good point to all of us. We got to stay in our lane. And if we try to add too many things into our lane, we're going to fall off the rail somewhere, and that's a good point that, you learned as you went that you weren't to do everything.
Right.
Okay. So how would people get in touch with you if they say, hey, I want to start my own business, I want to start my own ministry or something like that? What would they do? What's the first step?
First step is reaching out to me. If they go to my website, they could email me or contact me there, or they can email me directly with my website, which is itstheresa@theresam.com. But if they email me or even chat me on the Facebook, the little inbox, because I answer that too, that would be the first step. If they are not ready, because it's not going to be easy. I don't take a lot of excuses, so we're going to work through it. But if they are not ready, my next suggestion would be for them to join one of my master courses to prepare them for it.
And how do you do that?
Also on the website. So I have the Fire Fear master course that I talked about. I have another one coming up, another session in August. So if they go and subscribe to the theresam.com, if they at the bottom where they can subscribe, if they subscribe, they'll get the email, or either like or follow my Facebook page. That way they'll see when it comes out and they can join it, because like I said, my stuff is limited seating, so you're going to want to get in early.
And when you say limited seating, is this virtual or in person now with COVID?
So with COVID, it is virtual, but you do get the breakout sessions, and you do still get one-on-one sessions, which one-on-one sessions with me start at $150 an hour. So you get that automatically with the master courses, because I want, like I said, you get so much, but I want to make sure it's personable to you so that we can deliver you from that fear that you're working on.
Mm-hmm.
Fire that fear. I love that.
Fire fear. Yes, I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Love that. Okay, and just so everybody knows, Therisa is on, she does a, yeah, you were getting ready to say it, Lindsay. What?
No,
Say,
go.
yeah.
Go.
Um,
Go with the
on
flow.
Facebook, she does a Facebook Live behind the highlight reels. Tell us about that a minute.
Okay, so behind the highlight reels is it's a show, it's a new show that's been I've been doing a couple times, but it's on Fridays. It's Facebook Live for now. We may move off of Facebook, but y'all get the information if we do. But we're talking about what happens behind the highlight reels. So social media has everybody so in this whole phase of trying to show all the beauty that's going on in life, but nobody's sharing what's going on behind the highlight reels. You see the highlight reels, but you don't see what goes on behind it. But the important lessons, the transparency, and the testimony comes behind that. So I made a show so that we can actually talk about what really happens when the lights are off, or when we're not on Facebook, what's really going on in our lives. And we talk about everything from business, like what it looks like for real, to life, relationships, and even our relationship with God. Because what I feel is when something happens to you and you go through something, but you don't know anybody else has been through it because nobody talks about it, you start to think that something's wrong with you. So, for example, I like to use when we have those moments when we don't want to pray because we're mad at God. Well, nobody wants to talk about that. So when you feel like you're mad at God and you don't want to pray, and everybody's like, oh, pray, girl, just pray. And you don't want to say, I ain't really feeling God right now, but you're starting to think something's wrong with you. Well, there is something wrong with you, but what you don't realize is you can move beyond that. And so sometimes that can take you out. Your own thoughts and your own demons can take you out. But if we were to be honest and transparent and share, hey, girl, I've been through that. Let me tell you how I made it through. Then you would be like, okay, I know that this is something that I can overcome and I can make it through too. So let me do some of the things that she did, try some of her steps and make it through on my own. Somebody is always waiting. I always tell people, like, what you go through in life is never for you, it's for somebody else. But if we don't share that testimony, we'll never reach that somebody else. So that's what the whole show is about.
That is really interesting. And you hit a really powerful point. When you talked about what you go through is most time it's usually for someone else. Mm-hmm. And I think what happens is the enemy uses isolation to make us more fearful, to make us talk only to ourselves, and to lose out on fellowship. Yes. Which is so important, because just in me listening and talking to you and hearing fire, fear, and I'm like, okay, dude, after this show, I gotta call her. I gotta set up my, my money. I gotta set up I really have to connect with you because I've got some things I gotta work through. Mm-hmm. But when you are, because of COVID and because of all the isolation, the times that you're home alone, you're talking to yourself. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that's dangerous. That's really dangerous, because you will feed your own fear and it turns into the blob.
And it gets louder than God's voice. Yes. And you won't be able to hear anything he has to say.
And then you miss out on portions of your purpose. Mm-hmm. And I love the way that I love your whole program. So for real, after this is over,
Well, this is why I had her on the show.
Yeah. Yeah. This is amazing. This is amazing. Go ahead.
I know. I have so many thoughts. Always, I have so many thoughts. And it just left me where that thought I just had. I was getting all excited about it. Now I'm like, but isolation. That's what I was going to talk about. Oh my goodness. In isolation, bad things happen. Mm-hmm. And right now we have got to fight that tooth and nail with everybody being in quarantine and trying not to go out and get together. We have got to find ways like this, even if it's virtually, be with people and to have community and to talk, because like you were talking about, like even people feel, like, I don't want to talk to God right now, but really people, if they just think that in isolation, then they can just beat themselves up with all kind of shame and guilt and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That isolation just makes it one big hairy ball, whereas if I say that right here, you go, yeah, I felt that before, then immediately that has no power over me anymore.
And you normalize it.
Yes.
Exactly.
And that's what
we forget so much. The Bible says that things are not new unto man. So we shouldn't be thinking that anything we go through, we're the only ones. Like all these people of the world, you're not the only one. It's just nobody's talking about it. So I'm trying to create that environment so we talk about it. We are meant to fellowship.
We are. It's so important. And I also like when you talked about helping people start over. I remember before I moved here from California, I was talking with a physician of mine, and he was a young guy. He had graduated at the top of his class at Loma Linda and just really good. And so it was a family practice. So his sister was in PA school. His dad was general practitioner. And I was thinking about going into being a physician's assistant from social work. So kind of springboarding from social work into the biological part of life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was asking his opinion, and he was like, Lindsay, he was like, let me tell you about my dad. My dad's in his 60s now. He said, my dad started out as a minister, and then he became a lawyer, and now he's a family practitioner.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, it was like everything my parents had told me as far as you can be anything you want to be in life, but it finally came together for me tangibly when he told me that story and I actually saw the man. And so I love what you're doing as far as helping people start over. And it's not just this whole, I don't get that it's this whole philosophical thing. It is step by step by step.
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to figure out where your blocks are, or the hindrances in your process, and then we're going to go step by step by step by step to make it so that you can fulfill your purpose in life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's amazing what you're doing. It's absolutely amazing. And God has gifted you with a really great personality to be able to pull that off.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
God is amazing. I just give all glory to him, because if it wasn't for him and him giving me the revelations of everything that I've been through, why I've gone through it, because I would be a mess right now. So,
but his word says all things work together for good. All things. So even the, when he said turn left and we went right, he's going to curve it around. All things are going to work together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
and even understanding how God redeems, like that's something especially now, I love to talk to people about. Like, he will redeem your time. There has been multiple times where I'm like, oh gosh, I'm about to be, what am I, 31? I'm 31. And I'm like, oh God, I know I missed out on something. I should have been this, and this. I could have been a track star. I should have did this. Yeah. And God is like, don't worry. You're going to be where you're supposed to be as long as you listen to me, not yourself. Listen to me.
That's powerful.
And we're all in this journey. We're all trying to do the same thing. We're not perfect.
Yeah.
We got it, but we got to do it together.
Yeah.
Hey, something you said about, we were talking about not being in isolation and that we need to meet together and talk together. We need to be vulnerable with each other. That's going to lead right into our next episode. We're going to talk about your storytelling, little gift there that you have. So guys, there was a lot in this, and I'm going to try to make sure that in our, in the description, we have all this website and some information so we can, so people can connect with you. We need you. And I was going to ask you how old you were, but I was kind of holding myself back.
And look, and she was going to ask you like this.
And 31 years, and you've got like so much wisdom. But hey, everybody, come back. We're going to talk about some great storytelling stuff that she does. So join us next time.
Stay tuned.